Alright, so here we are, lockerfox.com. I would say this is a pretty popular site in a lot of locations. Full disclosure, before we go any further, I have never bought a storage unit from LockerFox, only because they've never had one in my area. So they're not, I'm in Oregon, at least they haven't made it out this way. They're in California though, so they're getting close. But I think this is probably going to be your guys' number 2 or number 3 site that you use to buy storage units. And it's a pretty interesting one. Right off the bat, you go to lockerfox.com. This site basically has no membership fee, where, you know, Storage Treasures does have the option for a membership fee on Storage Treasures. It's 15% if you do not, but if you want a membership, it's 10% and you pay monthly. This one also has 10%, a minimum $10 a locker. So if it's not, if they don't reach that 10% threshold for the final price of the locker, they'll charge you $10. So it's a low $10 fee to use their site and buy storage units, which is actually very good in my opinion. So lockerfox.com, we have view auctions, how it works, and bidder sign up. It doesn't cost you anything to sign up. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of their auctions. Their website is laid out quite a bit differently than Bid 13 and some of these others and Storage Treasures. So let's go ahead and click a, these are all, if you notice here, I've got this is my zip code and I'm 1,000 miles out. So you can tell that I don't have a lot of lockers in my area if I had to put 1,000 miles on it, right? But that being said, let's go ahead and click this guy. So we got this locker. This is kind of the layout, guys. It shows the locker, shows the location up here. Obviously, you've got the days, hours, and minutes up here. Now, similar to Bid 13 and some of the other sites, you do see who you're bidding against, which is very interesting because I think that makes the bid a little higher because you know who you're bidding against unless they change their username or they use another account. So that's kind of interesting to me, where Storage Treasures, you don't know who you're bidding against. This one you do. Can you imagine if I had Wade's Ventures up here, how much more money I would have to spend on storage units because people knew they're bidding against a storage unit YouTuber? So I'm kind of glad that Storage Treasures doesn't have this, because I would imagine the bid prices would be higher if people knew they were bidding against me. They would bid against me even higher, right? All right, so here's the pictures, or the main picture at least. You'll go down here. Basically, it has keywords. Use this with a grain of salt with any site. Appliances, assorted boxes, totes. I always look at this, but I use it with a grain of salt because it's the facility that actually puts that in there. And then you have the unit details. Okay, this is going to be when the bid ends. LockerFox does have a cleaning deposit on some of these facilities for $100. It probably depends on the facility, because the facility is the one that does this, not LockerFox. And then you have sales tax. You got to keep that in mind. I'm in Oregon, so I don't have any tax, but if you're in a state that has tax, you got to keep that in mind for your price that you're bidding. This is a 10 by 20 unit. Remember, you got to make sure you look at the type of unit. This is really important because a lot of people can skip over this, and you don't want to buy a manager special unit. We did a video on that. So look at the type of unit. This is a typical lean unit. Pick up within 72 hours, which is pretty good. If you buy multiple storage lockers at the same facility, you may be able to talk to the manager and they can give you more time, which is kind of another unique thing too. Shows the hours of the facility and the location, right? And look at this though, 32 other auctions at this facility. I think that's really cool because remember, I do this a lot. If I buy one storage unit at a facility, I actually may buy 2 or 3 if they have more lockers going up at that facility, because that means I only have to go to one location to pick up a few lockers. Excuse me. So, for example, if this is, let's say I want this locker and it's a fantastic locker and I want it, I may take a gamble on a couple other ones that are iffy just because I don't have to drive to other locations. I just have to go to one facility. So you may be more apt to buy a few more lockers if you only have to go to one location and take a little more risk on a few others, even if they're not great, just because it's at the same facility. And you can kind of save time. Then you can scroll down here, guys, and you can see a lot of photos. It's kind of unique the way they do their photos. You can't click it. You can't zoom in. I'm trying to zoom in now, and I can't do it, but they're still pretty big photos. which is kind of cool. And yeah, that's it. I mean, that's pretty simple. You know, like I said, I've never used their site, but it's pretty easy and pretty straightforward. Let's go to how it works. Create your account, find storage auctions, bid on the auctions. Basically, it's you know, just like any site, right? Soft close, 10% fee plus your state tax if you have state tax, and then that's it. And then you go pick up your loot. I like how they said loot. And then it kind of gives you an idea. Bring a pair of gloves, bring a lock, bring a sweep, bring a broom to sweep. You got to clean out the entire unit. We did a video on what to bring to storage units, guys. Make sure you watch that. But yeah, that's Locker Fox. It's a pretty easy site, it looks like. It's a very common site in a lot of locations. And yeah, I just hopefully they come to Oregon and do more auctions in Oregon. That would be fantastic. It looks like you can even go down here and search by state if you wanted to, and kind of find storage auctions in your state. But remember, again, I'm going to say this over and over. It's very important that you put yourself in the best position to win. So don't just get familiar and used to one storage unit site when there may be another one with really great lockers. And so you've always got to be looking at other storage unit sites, because at the end of the day, you just never know what will pop up and what facility has contracts with some of these online sites. You may find a facility that you didn't know about, and that gives you a really cool deal on a very good locker. So lockerfox.com, that's what this site is. And yet another pretty easy site to navigate and pretty affordable as well.